did. He just literally sold like 10% of his shares in Tesla because he put out a tweet and he's like, hey guys, I heard you don't like rich people not selling stuff. So you want me to sell 10% of my shares so I could pay some tax? And then he posts another tweet and he says, I'm serious. I'm going to abide by this tweet. And he goes and does it. And I didn't fact check the numbers to see if he sold exactly 10%, but he sold like $5 billion worth. A lot of money.
It's huge, and it has huge effects on the market. And
the price went down 20%. So
crazy.
I think that I don't think that the mob is the right way to decide whether you're going to divest of something that you worked so hard to build. I think it's a terribly stupid idea. I think Elon Musk is a weird case of a genius who does some really stupid crap. And you're like, bro, he invented PayPal, kind of, right? X.com and PayPal merged, but he was kind of invented it. And, then he wrecked his McLaren F1. I wouldn't wreck my McLaren F1. Most people don't, but he wrecked his, And then, he doesn't do everything right. Some things he gets right. But like, for instance, let's take Bitcoin. Secretly buys Bitcoin, then tells everyone it's awesome. He's going to start accepting it for Tesla cars, and he'll never sell. He says he'll never sell. Then sells the living crap out of it and says, I said I would never sell the money we got from selling the cars. And I don't think he ever got any money from selling the cars. And then after he dumped it, surprise bought it, pumped it, surprise dumped it, and then started savaging it. This stuff's destroying the environment. Who knew? Who knew Bitcoin used electricity? You're like, hey, rocket scientist, bro. You knew. You 100% knew. You bought it, you pumped it, you dumped it, and now you're savaging it. And you don't even need to do that, man. So it's
just for fun for him. He's just like, this is what I'll do to... I mean, someone who's worth, what, is he worth 200 billion? Or he's like...
Something like that, yeah.
So so just... Do you think he's doing it with ulterior motives or just for the fun of it?
Well, it depends. I think he context switches. So when he's just trolling about, stupid meme coins, he's probably just trolling. But when he's, secretly buys $1.5 billion or something, he ain't trolling. He bought $1.5 billion through Tesla. Okay. And then he wants the price to go up. Then he wants to sell. Then he wants to rebuy. Maybe the price goes back down because he talks so much crap. I don't think that's funny. And I don't think those were jokes, And so I think he's got multiple modes. I think he's got a profit generating mode. I think he's got a trolling mode. And, we're not on the same page on some things. So, he thinks we should be a multi-planetary species. I think that sucks. My grandparents are dead. My dog's dead. And they don't care whether we go to Mars or not. They're out of the game. Soon my parents are on the chopping block, and then I'm on the chopping block. And if we were smart, we wouldn't care about going to Mars either. So you could say, put all your eggs in one basket. Or there's two sayings. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Or put all your eggs in one basket and watch it very carefully. And, I don't care if a big meteor comes and kills everyone here, but like 25 guys get to live on Mars because we're redundant. Like, no. That sucks. Let's not, everything that we want is here. And so I raised $27 million for medical research, and he's not doing that. He's not raising the money for medical research that I am. And he doesn't believe that people should live longer, healthier lives. He's pro-death to a degree. So's Bill Gates. Bill Gates says, I don't really think people should live longer. And you're like, oh my God, dude. Well, one, I guess you hate all medicine because that's what all of it does. It all makes us live longer. So I guess you're just and then Mr. Gates believes that everyone's life is worth the same. And I know that it's not, which is why we have door locks. If everyone's life was worth the same, you'd let people eat your food, but you don't.
Yeah. So they talk one way, but they're worth more money than most countries. So they're not really. But
you can sway them. They're swayable. If I could get an audience with some of these guys, I could see, how to hopefully improve certain parts of what they're doing. Now look, Bill Gates does actually do a lot of good things for the world. I think some of the stuff he's doing recently may not be optimal, but you know, if you want your kids not to have guinea worm, he's like the world champion of getting rid of guinea worm, you know? And there's some things he cares about that I don't care about at all, but probably make the world a better place. Now, I look at things from this perspective. When I'm dying in the next, say, 20, 40 years, did I do the best I could to like deploy my capital in ways that would prevent that obvious outcome that you 100% knew was coming? Like Steve Jobs 100% knew something was coming for him, but he just died rich. Okay, well, if you die rich, you messed up. Like that undeployed capital did you what good? Did your family what good? And if it didn't work out for you, it could work out for your kids. You like your kids? You want them to be happy and healthy? Well, they need medicine. They need it. I mean, look at this COVID thing. Imagine if we'd spent a little bit more on preventing this cluster. It ain't good. It's a lot of bad stuff going on. I mean, Austria locked down all the unvaccinated people. Then 3 days later, they locked down all the vaccinated people.
Yeah.
You can't vote in parliament in Latvia if you're not vaxxed. You can't get gas in Lithuania, I think, unless you got a vax pass. Now, some people argue about that, and they say, well, you can. But it's like, you know, just because some businesses might not be following the rules, that don't mean that ain't the rules, you know? And then you look at places that have 100% vax rate, like, I don't know if it was Gibraltar or someplace, and then they're on lockdown with 100% vax rate. And you're like, okay, guys, at what point are you going to realize that, like, one, this vax don't actually work? Even Bill Gates himself says it does not prevent you from spreading anything. It just maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely not for mandates. I think they're ridiculous, and they're a way to cause agitation in the world, which is unnecessary, basically. So no, I'm not a mandate guy. Absolutely.
Well, mandates is literally like the opposite of human rights. You're like,
I agree.
The Geneva Conventions quite clearly states you can't do medical experiments on people, and then here's this unapproved crap that hasn't been through human trials, and they want you to be the trial, and you're like, wait a second, what's up with all the myocarditis? What's up with this Google searches for suddenly died going through the absolute roof? What's up with giving kids, like, so you're gonna give kids that have a 0% chance of death from this stuff something that has a higher than 0% chance of death. So you're gonna kill kids in order to protect who? Like, I don't think you should kill kids to protect other people. I don't. Like, I think if the world is in a state where you have to die instead of kids, that's how it is. Sorry.
So I'm here to say I am vaccinated, but I am against mandates. I'm an anti-mandate guy. Absolutely.
Well, I just got I manned up and just got the real COVID, so now I get the real immunity. So, like, the vaccine gives you immunity to like a little tiny part.
I think that everyone will get COVID before probably in 3 years. Probably everyone will have had it. So. So I am vaccinated, but I'm not. We can't run away from it, basically. And if you don't want to get vaccinated, I believe that's your choice. And I'm absolutely with you there.
I like these people that are like, you know, choices have consequences. You're like, wait a second. So you're gonna, like, you can't leave your house, you can't feed your family. Like, it went from like 3 weeks. It went from like 2 weeks to beat the curve to now like 3 jabs to feed your family.
Yeah.
And you're like.
Look, it's.
If you agitate the people, like, social distancing obviously works for all diseases. If you agitate to the people to the degree where they form riots, that's the opposite of social distancing. You probably shouldn't cause them to riot because
I agree.
Like, it's not.
I agree. I haven't had a cold at all in over 2 years.
Right.
I used to get colds every 3 weeks. So something has certainly stopped that. But I'm with you on it's a crazy way to run the world, and it has caused a lot of stress unnecessarily, I would say. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm with you 100%. And how's America going with it? How is the overall population?
I live in Europe, so I don't even know what's going on over there. I mean, Like, I just drove 6,000 kilometers through all the Baltic states. So
Yeah,
I
right.
bought a Ferrari and drove from Grand Touring car, decided to go on a Grand Tour, went to Estonia, Latvia, Poland, Amsterdam, Germany, Paris,
Oh,
Denmark, everywhere, just went
that's
absolutely
beautiful.
everywhere.
How beautiful is that? How beautiful is Europe? I was in Italy a couple of years ago. What a country! What a place to be! How it's stunning, isn't it? That would have
Well,
been a stunning thing to do.
it's nice when you can participate in society, but in some places I
Yes.
wasn't allowed to.
Oh,
So in
really?
Estonia, you want to go into a restaurant, show us your vaccine pass. No,
Yeah,
but I got a
right.
test that shows I don't have it. We don't care. That's not what this is about. What they say it's about isn't what it's about. So then you know, like for instance, I now have natural immunity because I got it, and my body was like, all right, we're over it. Which basically the CDC guidelines is if you've had 11 days and then 2 days without fever, you're clear. You can do whatever you want. You no longer have
Yeah.
to quarantine unless you were immunocompromised, unless you were like an AIDS patient, were immunocompromised.
Yeah.
Other than that, 11 days plus 2 days without fever, you can do whatever you want. And in most countries, they don't even care about the 2 days without fever. They just care about the 11 days. So, but a lot of countries don't give you any credit for that. So if you look at the UK guidelines, I have a big show I got to, attend on December 2nd in the UK. There is no framework for having been recovered. They don't care. They want you to quarantine for 10 days. Now there's,
Yeah, even though you've got a better immunity than everyone else.
yeah, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. What I got is way more effective than what they give you with these jabs. So it's not a fair world, and these laws are not being fairly enforced, and
It's also not sensible. So I know in Australia, if you get COVID, you're not allowed to have a vaccine for 6 months. So even if you wanted to get a vaccine,
Exactly.
you can't even get one. Is that right?
because
Or
they
not
know
many?
because they know how stupid it is, because you already have the best immunity possible by God. Like, there's nothing better. You can't possibly get better immunity than actually having had COVID. And then the jab, the jab has a higher risk of fucking you up in ways that the disease doesn't. So, the
Right.
disease isn't likely to give you myocarditis, but the jab is.
So so right now you can't go to many places, even if you wanted to get the jab, you wouldn't be allowed to get the jab. So
it's
you
really weird. So like, in EU countries of like, they do have a cert for recovery. So in most EU countries, they have like a recovery cert, but the UK is not a member of the EU anymore. So like they don't, and for instance, Hamburg, Germany, when I was there, there were bars that would let you in with your test that showed that you were clean. And you have to get your nose jabbed every 3 days, by the way. So if you want to do that, like show that you're an okay human being that's allowed to participate in society, you got to get something jabbed in your nose every 3 days. And then there's like an hour or 2 hour delay between when you find out whether you got it. And so you're missing like huge chunks of your time as a human being trying to continue to participate in society. And then in Hamburg, there was places where they didn't even care. They're like, you either have a vaccine and then you can come in, or you can't. And we don't care about your test that says you don't have anything. And you're just like,
yeah.
okay, I'm leaving here then. Keep it. Crazy.
It's a weird world. In Australia, as you probably know, Melbourne, where I've spent a lot of time, been locked down longer than anywhere else in the world. So yeah, and there's a lot of protests, and there's it's.
Well, I heard you guys just opened up, but I would be afraid to go visit. Was that true? Did you guys open up?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we've mostly opened up. So and there's the vaccination rate is over 90% here. So, and there is a mandate, and there's like people going, why does there need to be a mandate if you're over 90%? You shouldn't have to mandate, but they're still mandating. So yeah, no, it's.
I would be afraid to visit because I know they're going to lock your asses down again.